In this video, I'm going to walk you through the standard reporting interface in GA4. I'll show you how you can customize it and make it more yours, so it's more according to your needs, and it will eventually be more helpful for your day-to-day job. So yeah, let's get started. So as we know, Google Analytics 4 comes with quite a minimal reporting interface when you first create your GA4 property. And the reports it comes with actually depend on the business objectives that you select during the GA4 property creation process. So if you create a new property, you can choose from various business objectives, and based on those, you will have a set of pre-prepared reports to go with. So usually, especially if you created your GA4 property some time ago, you will probably have these baseline reports, but you might have others as well. Don't worry, you can always import all of them later. But usually, like I would say 80% of properties that I work with have these baseline reports. So this is how the reporting interface actually looks like. So we have these collections, so in our case lifecycle and user, and within those we have various topics as acquisition, engagement, monetization, retention, and so on. And underneath we have two types of reports. So we have either overview report or we have a detail report. Overview report, as you can see, contains these cards with various dimensions and metrics, and detail report is something that we are probably more used to. So we have like some kind of visualization, usually a line chart and bar charts, and then the table underneath. So when it comes to customization, we have two options. We can edit these reports by clicking Customize Report button over here, and it will bring up this user interface where you can actually modify pretty much everything that is displayed in this report. So let's say you want to get rid of a line chart or bar chart, you can do it here. You can change what kind of dimensions and metrics are actually displayed in the report. So let's say I want to get rid of this engaged session, engagement rate, engaged sessions, and so on. I can just apply and it will remove those from the table underneath. Same thing for dimensions. I can just list what kind of dimensions are available in this report. I can change what dimension is a default one, so I can change that over here. And then we can see that this report is tied or linked to user acquisition report template. What this means is that if in the future Google decides to add some things to this report or remove things from this report, it will be reflected in this report of yours. If you don't want that, you can still unlink this, which means that it won't receive any updates from Google. This might be a good idea, especially if you're building your own reports, so you have always control over that, what's displayed there. And also what you can do is create these summary cards. So these cards are for the overview reports. So you can create a new card here, and you can say, okay, what kind of dimension you want to be displayed, what kind of metric, let's say new users, what kind of visualization it should be. And then also you can add a filter to it. And then you can hit apply and it will be available to use in the overview reports. You can also filter this report. So you can add a filter here. You can add various filters based on country, traffic sources, pretty much anything you can think of. So you can make really maybe a sections or collections of the reports that will be only filtered based on some criteria. Let's say you will do collection that is only dedicated to the paid traffic. You can create filter here, which will say something like, okay, let's do organic because we don't have a paid traffic here. But let's say the same thing applies to any other traffic source. So you can create a filtered view, and then okay, already you can save it as a new report and use it in your reporting interface. So if I save this as a new report now, let's say organic traffic user acquisition, and you can save it. But if you go back to the report, but as we can see, the report that we just created is not visible yet. So it's not visible in any of these topics. So if we want to do that, we need to actually publish that report. To do that, we need to go to the library section over here. And this is like a place where you can actually modify what kind of reports are shown in that panel on the left. So you can edit or create a new collections. You can add reports to it, either overview or detailed reports. I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's say we want to add the report we just created to the acquisition topic in the lifecycle collection. So we can do that by just editing this collection. And here we have different topics and we can add a report. So if we search for organic traffic user acquisition, so this is the report we just created, we can just drag and drop it over there and then we can save it. And again, you can save this either as a new collection or to save these changes to the current collection. So I'm going to save it to a current collection. If we go back and go to the reporting again, there we have it. There's our edited report that we just created. So this is like filtered and we have like different set of metrics that we defined. The other approach that you can do is you can create a new report from scratch. So you go to the library and then click on create new report. And you can choose if you want to create overview report or the detailed report. So if you create overview report, you can actually import various cards here. So there are some already pre-prepared, but I showed you already how you can create your own card from your report as well. So you can just search for whatever you want, add those cards in, and you can add up to 16 different cards to this report. So let's say I want to save this, and let's say overview. All right, so now we can use that also in our collections and topics. The other type of the report that you can create is that detailed report. So here you can either start blank or you can choose template. So if you choose a template, be aware that if you keep it linked to the template, it might change if the underlying template will change, and Google can make those changes. So keep in mind that. So let's start with a blank report over here. And you can add dimensions, metrics just by clicking on these buttons. So let's add session custom channel grouping, hit apply. And for metrics, let's total users. Let's add sessions and bounce rate, because why not? And it will already generate the report, and you can see here. And if you want to have an option to change your primary dimension, you will need to add multiple dimensions over here. And let's say I don't want a bar chart, I want just line chart. And yeah, if I'm happy, I will just save this and set it as custom session channel grouping. All right. And again, this report was just created. It's not yet published. So if we want to add it, we can add it, let's say lifecycle collection. And we can add it here, just like that. We have this overview report as well that we created, report overview. So you can always add that as well, but keep in mind that each topic can have only one overview report in it. So if we are happy, we'll save this again, save it to the current collection. And if we go here, we can see it over here. Just like that. Now, let's say that you have a report like we have, like for example, like e-commerce related reports that don't collect any data. So you can actually unpublish those by going again to the library, and on the top where you have like different collections, you can go to lifecycle, you can go to edit, and you can just delete the topic altogether if you don't want that. So again, we will save it. And we don't have a monetization report over here anymore because we don't have e-commerce data, for example. As you can see, there are some collections that are not published. So for example, if you connect GA4 with your Search Console, you will have unpublished Search Console collection. So you can just hit publish over here and it will add a Search Console reports to your GA4 property. So you will have your Google search query dimension with some other metrics as clicks, impressions, and so on. So that's where you can do that. One more thing, what you can do with overview type of reports is publish them to be as report snapshot, which is like, let's say, homepage or overview page where you can have like quick glance over most important metrics. So what you can do is go to the library and find the overview reports that you want. So let's say I will use the report overview that we just created, and you can set it as a report snapshot. Now, if you go to the report snapshot, instead of the generic one we had there, the one that we created. So you can customize this as you want and yeah, make it more useful for you. There's actually one more interesting thing that you can do when it comes to standard reports, and that's what you can publish a funnel exploration to your standard reports. So if you build a funnel, let's say this kind of funnel, you can save this report in the library. Let's say funnel exploration, that's good. And it will add this funnel exploration to the library over here. And we can publish this again same way as we did previously. So we'll edit this and we'll search for funnel. I will just put it to one of the topics and save it. And now if we go over here, we have the funnel visualization available in the standard reports, which is quite nice. You can only do this with funnels in exploration so far. So none other types of reports or visualization or techniques can do this, but it's a really nice way how you can make your own funnels and make them available for everyone. All right, so keep in mind, if you make these changes, they are available to everyone who has access to the GA4 property. If you are 360, you can also manage access to those collections and topics. But if you are standard free GA4 property, then these changes will be visible for everyone who has access to your GA4 property. So keeping that in mind, hopefully this video was useful, and see you in the next one.